Have you ever felt an inexplicable pull towards someone who seems just out of reach? You might find yourself chasing after men who are emotionally unavailable, leaving you wondering, why do I do this? This feeling, though confusing, is more common than you might think. It's as if we're on a quest for a treasure that's forever just beyond our grasp. Take a moment to reflect on it. Could this pursuit stem from a deep-seated fear rather than a genuine yearning for connection? Let's delve into this complex dynamic. Alan Watts often discussed the concept of the ego and how our attachments to unresolved feelings shape our experiences. When we seek validation from emotionally distant partners, we're often trying to fill a void within ourselves, a void rooted in our insecurities. Our ego, as Watts reminded us, is not just a barrier to connection. It's also a reflection of our fears and past wounds. We may subconsciously choose partners who mirror our emotional unavailability, creating an endless cycle that leaves us unfulfilled. Consider your own experiences. Have you found yourself in relationships where conversations felt more superficial than substantive? Perhaps during heartfelt moments, you sensed a wall go up, leaving you yearning for a deeper connection that seemed to evaporate the moment you approached it. What if those patterns are merely reflections of your own emotional states? Could it be that your pursuit of these elusive partners is a way to distract yourself from grappling with your own fears? It's a poignant question, one that invites introspection into the motivations driving our choices. Watts taught us that the journey inward is often the most enlightening. The pursuit of love can become a diversion from the complexities of self-acceptance. We chase after a connection, convinced that it will complete us or validate our worth. But in doing so, we might overlook the beauty of establishing a fulfilling relationship with ourselves. What if we shifted our focus? Instead of chasing ghosts, we could turn inward and begin to illuminate our own potential, realizing that our self-worth does not hinge on another's ability to love us back. This reflection opens up myriad avenues for understanding. Ask yourself, what are the unresolved feelings or insecurities guiding your choices? Are you perhaps treating love as a transaction, a way to prove your worth rather than a genuine experience based on mutual emotional availability? The answer, though perhaps uncomfortable, can pave the way for substantial change. It's about recognizing the patterns that have led you here and questioning whether fear of loneliness or inadequacy has played a role in your attraction to emotional unavailability. By acknowledging these behaviors and understanding their roots, you take the first steps toward misplaced expectations and embracing what you truly deserve. Imagine approaching relationships with an entirely different mindset, one that is steeped in self-love and self-awareness. What if the key to attracting the love you desire lies not in chasing those who elude you, but in nurturing a profound connection with yourself? In unraveling these complex emotions, we not only gain insight into our own hearts, but also empower ourselves to seek healthier, more fulfilling relationships. It's a journey of understanding, one where we start to see that our fears don't have to rule our hearts. Instead, by balancing acknowledgement of our emotional needs with self-acceptance, we can foster relationships that flourish in mutual respect and emotional availability. So, as you ponder these reflections on emotional unavailability, consider taking a moment to examine your own patterns and the feelings that lie beneath. Could your pursuit of love be rooted in fear rather than a wish for genuine connection? How can this understanding guide you toward a more profound sense of self-worth? Join me in this exploration as we journey together towards rediscovering the beauty of healthy relationships, starting with the most essential one, the relationship you have with yourself. Let's pause for a moment of contemplation, inviting you to reflect on these questions and how they resonate with your own experiences. If you're finding this insight helpful, I invite you to subscribe to the channel as we continue to explore the journey of love, emotional availability, and self-discovery. Together, we can uncover more about the ties that bind us and the freedom that comes from truly understanding ourselves. As we continue our exploration of emotional unavailability, the next step is to recognize the signs that often go unnoticed. This understanding is crucial as it allows us to identify patterns in our relationships and ultimately empower ourselves to make more informed choices. The first sign we must uncover is emotional stunting. Oftentimes, we fail to see the behaviors that indicate a partner's inability to connect on a deeper level. So let's shine a light on these subtle clues that may reveal more than we realize. Imagine you're in a conversation with someone you care about deeply. You share your thoughts, perhaps unveiling some of your vulnerabilities, and instead of engaging, there is a blatant change in energy, a withdrawal, a silence, or a shift to a lighter subject. This is one of the first signs of emotional stunting. The ability to engage in meaningful dialogue, especially about our feelings and experiences, is vital for healthy connections. When a partner avoids these important conversations, it often points to their struggles with emotional availability and the intimacy that follows. Have you ever experienced moments where heartfelt discussions about commitment, future plans, or even past traumas feel like an uphill battle? Think back to those times. Did you notice a pattern of avoidance? When we invest emotionally in someone and they respond by pulling away or keeping the conversation superficial, it's a telling reflection of their struggles. Not only does this behavior signal their emotional stunting, but it also mirrors our own investment, or perhaps our own fears of abandonment. By identifying this sign, we can start to peel away the layers of our relationship and recognize the patterns impacting our emotional well-being. The second sign, withdrawal during heartfelt moments. Picture this. You're having a beautiful day filled with laughter and affection, only for your partner to suddenly retreat into their shell when the atmosphere turns serious. It's during those critical moments, when you hope for connection, that a partner's emotional distance becomes glaringly evident. The fear of vulnerability can cause someone to withdraw when it hits too close to home. How does this affect you? You may feel frustrated, confused, or even dismissed when your partner doesn't meet you where you are emotionally. This withdrawal isn't merely a reflection of them. It can also trigger our deepest insecurities about being worthy of intimacy and love. The third sign to recognize is superficiality in interactions. When conversations linger on the surface level, talking about the weather, work, or mundane daily activities, it might feel comfortable and safe initially, but over time, this superficiality can dim the spark of connection you crave. Reflect on how many times your conversations remain stuck in the physical realm, never transcending to emotional depth. This suggestive behavior not only limits the connection you share, but also calls into question the genuineness of your emotional investment. An intimate relationship thrives on vulnerability and transparency. Without it, you might find yourself yearning for more. Now, let's think about how recognizing these signs can empower us. What if each time we notice these patterns, avoidance of crucial conversations, withdrawal during poignant moments, or a tendency towards superficial interactions, we transform our perspective? Instead of resigning to the belief that love must be difficult or painful, we can view these signs as invitations to engage in deeper reflection, not just about them, but about ourselves too. How can this awareness guide you to foster healthier relationships? By identifying these behaviors, you empower yourself to make choices aligned with your self-worth instead of settling for less than you deserve. As we unravel the threads of emotional unavailability and acknowledge the signs before us, we gain clarity on the dynamics at play in our relationships. We begin to recognize that identifying emotional stunting isn't merely about pointing fingers, but is instead a profound exploration of our own emotional landscape. With this knowledge comes the energy to foster healthier dynamics, allowing space for growth and transformation. Pause for a moment and consider how these revelations resonate with your experiences. What steps can you take moving forward? Are you willing to embrace the discomfort that comes with acknowledging these signs, translating it into a more empowering narrative for your future relationships? If you're finding yourself inspired to explore these insights further, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. Let's continue our journey together, delving deeper into the intricate dance of emotional connection so that we can cultivate the love we truly desire. As we journey deeper into understanding emotional unavailability, we arrive at a transformative concept, the importance of setting boundaries. This might feel daunting, especially in a world that often encourages us to prioritize connection above all else. However, instead of seeing boundaries as walls that separate us from love, let's view them as the protective embrace that allows love to flourish. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a beautiful garden. You want to invite others in to share its beauty, but without a clear fence around it, weeds might intrude, choking the very flowers you cherish. Boundaries serve a similar purpose in our emotional lives. They delineate where you end and another person begins, allowing you to nurture your dignity and well-being while welcoming genuine connection. When it comes to emotional relationships, understanding what you deserve is crucial. Start by reflecting on your values and the behaviors you will and won't tolerate. This self-awareness is your compass, guiding you through the sometimes murky waters of relationship dynamics. Ask yourself, what are the needs that define my emotional space? Are there specific behaviors that make me feel safe and cherished? Communicating your boundaries, whether they relate to important conversations, ways of expressing love, or how you deal with conflict, doesn't make you demanding. It reinforces your self-respect. When we let others know our boundaries, we invite healthier relationships that are anchored in mutual understanding. In doing so, we honor our feelings, and when our truth is seen, we create an environment where authentic connection can thrive. However, how can we communicate these boundaries without alienating those we care for? It begins with clarity and compassion. Instead of approaching the conversation with defensiveness, invite an open dialogue where both parties can express themselves. For instance, if your partner avoids deep conversations, you might say, "I really value when we can share our thoughts and feelings. It makes me feel closer to you." This approach shifts the conversation from a list of demands to an exploration of mutual desires, opening a pathway for deeper connections. Additionally, Watts reminds us that life is about fluidity and growth. Embracing change means understanding that boundaries can evolve. As you navigate relationships, you may discover new needs or realities to address. Maybe that means revisiting your defined boundaries as you grow, enabling you to nurture a space where love can ebb and flow, adapting to your changing needs. Another important aspect of establishing boundaries is recognizing when someone consistently oversteps them. This can spark feelings of frustration, sadness, or anger. But rather than allowing these emotions to fester, let them guide you toward redefining the parameters of your relationship. If your needs are continually disregarded, challenge yourself to consider if this relationship is aligned with your emotional well-being. As you navigate this process, consider that setting boundaries is a profound act of self-love. When we honor our needs, we give others the opportunity to step in and understand the depth of our emotional landscape. By fostering an environment where both partners can thrive, we create space for authentic connections that resonate with both parties' feelings. So, as we integrate this understanding of emotional boundaries into our lives, let's remember that these markers define our emotional safety net. They remind us of our worth and what we truly desire from our loved ones. If you're inspired to delve into this realm further, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. Together, let's continue to explore how to nurture our emotional spaces, cultivate healthier relationships, and ultimately welcome the love we deserve. What boundaries will you establish to create a safe haven for yourself? Your journey of self-discovery beckons, and I can't wait to continue this exploration with you. As we move into the next chapter of our exploration on emotional availability, let's shift our focus to the vital role of self-awareness in fostering healthier relationships. Self-awareness is like holding a mirror up to your soul, allowing you to see the intricacies of your feelings, motivations, and behaviors. It's a profound tool that helps illuminate the path toward genuine connections, particularly when navigating the complexities of emotional unavailability. Have you ever experienced moments of frustration in a relationship only to realize later that your feelings stemmed from unresolved issues within yourself? This is where the magic of self-awareness comes into play. It empowers you to observe your emotional triggers and patterns, enabling you to respond with clarity rather than react impulsively. When we are self-aware, we can approach our emotions with a sense of curiosity, wondering why we feel the way we do, rather than denying those feelings or projecting them onto others. For instance, perhaps you notice that you feel an overwhelming sense of anxiety when your partner doesn't respond to your texts immediately. Instead of spiraling into thoughts of rejection, self-awareness encourages you to pause and reflect. What does this anxiety reveal about your past experiences or fears? Does it tap into feelings of inadequacy or abandonment? By recognizing these emotions, you open the door to understanding their roots, allowing you to address them constructively. Alan Watts often emphasized the importance of understanding ourselves before we can truly connect with others. He would describe this journey of self-exploration as akin to the way a river flows. The more we understand our own paths, the clearer our course becomes in building meaningful relationships. Imagine the river of your life. Every twist, turn, and rock represents different experiences that have shaped you. Each obstacle teaches you something new, and recognizing these elements can help you navigate your emotional landscape with greater ease. Self-awareness isn't just about recognizing our feelings. It's about taking the time to understand our needs in relationships. Think about it. If you don't truly know what fuels your happiness or triggers your insecurities, how can you communicate that to others? It's essential to take moments of introspection to explore what you genuinely want and need in a partner. This journey can illuminate whether you're drawn to emotional unavailability due to past experiences or if a deeper fear of vulnerability is at play. Let's take a pivotal step in this process by exploring journaling as a tool for fostering self-awareness. Write about your feelings and experiences with love and connection. What do you notice? What patterns or emotions emerge? By putting your thoughts on paper, you can observe areas of growth or recurring themes in your life that warrant reflection. This practice can be invaluable in understanding your relationship dynamics, allowing you to gain perspective and clarity about your desires. Moreover, as you hone your self-awareness, don't underestimate the power of seeking feedback from those close to you. Opening up to trusted friends or family about your feelings can provide supportive perspectives that deepen your understanding of yourself. Sometimes the people who love us can offer insights into our patterns that we may not see from our own vantage point. As we embrace self-awareness, it's important to remember that change is a gradual process. Be gentle with yourself as you navigate the discomfort of recognizing your emotional landscape. Self-discovery isn't always straightforward, and the journey of unraveling layers of emotional unavailability may bring up feelings of resistance or self-doubt. Acknowledge those feelings without judgment. Instead, embrace them as part of your journey toward authenticity and connection. So, as you reflect on your journey, ask yourself, What have you learned about your emotional landscape? Where can you foster self-awareness to guide your relationships? Are you willing to lean into uncomfortable emotions as you continue to grow and learn? Recognizing the significance of self-awareness can catalyze profound transformations in how you approach connections and the way you perceive love. If you're feeling inspired to delve deeper into this exploration of self-awareness, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. Together, let's continue the journey of illuminating our emotional paths, nurturing self-discovery, and building the relationships we truly deserve. What insights and realizations are waiting for you as you embark on this journey? Join me as we uncover the beauty of connection intertwined with the wisdom of understanding ourselves. As we delve further into our journey of emotional availability, let's explore the significance of vulnerability. Vulnerability is often perceived as a weakness, yet it is, in fact, the birthplace of authenticity and connection. Imagine for a moment that you're standing on the edge of a tranquil lake, the water reflecting the sky like a mirror. Just as the lake reveals the beauty of its surroundings, embracing vulnerability allows us to reveal our true selves and connect with others on a profound level. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you're choosing to share your authentic emotions, fears, and dreams. This act requires courage, particularly when we consider the possible outcomes, fear of judgment, rejection, or emotional pain. But what if vulnerability isn't a fault line in our emotional landscape, but rather the foundational element that nourishes our relationships? Think back to a time when you felt comfortable enough to express your fears or insecurities to someone you deeply trust. That moment may have felt daunting, filled with uncertainty. But did you notice how, once you took that leap, it often opened the door for deeper connection? Vulnerability acts as a bridge, inviting others to step into our emotional space and share their own truths in return. When one person dares to show their authentic self, it creates a safe haven for others to do the same. Sometimes we may find ourselves hesitating to embrace vulnerability. Perhaps you've been hurt before, or you've witnessed emotional unavailability in past relationships, making you cautious about opening up. It's completely understandable to want to protect yourself from potential hurt. However, here lies a critical question. Do you find yourself opting for a facade that keeps you safe at the expense of genuine connection? Adopting vulnerability means accepting that pain and joy are two sides of the same coin. It's about understanding that while you may risk getting hurt, the reward of authentic connection often outweighs that fear. In the wise words of Alan Watts, you are an aperture through which the universe is observing itself. When you allow yourself to be seen, you ultimately help create a more profound connection, not only to others, but also to the vastness of your own experience. It's important to create an environment that fosters vulnerability as well. When someone shares their feelings with you, respond with empathy and openness. How do you feel when someone else is vulnerable with you? Often, vulnerability invites vulnerability in return, creating a spiral of connection that strengthens your bond. Reflect on the relationships where you have felt this reciprocal vulnerability. How did it deepen your sense of trust and safety? To practice vulnerability in your daily life, consider starting small. Share an honest thought or feeling during a conversation, or express something you're passionate about. Invite someone in through your emotions. Do they feel fear, joy, or uncertainty? Each small step you take builds your capacity to be vulnerable while reinforcing your emotional resilience. As you cultivate vulnerability, remember that it doesn't mean exposing yourself to everyone indiscriminately. It's about discerning with whom you feel safe to share your authentic self. This discernment creates a balance between openness and self-protection, allowing you to navigate relationships with intention. Now, let's take a moment to reflect inward. What has holding back your vulnerability cost you emotionally? Are there instances when you chose to put on a brave face rather than reveal your true feelings? By acknowledging those moments, you can identify patterns that may have constrained deeper connections in your life. In embracing vulnerability, we open ourselves to a richer tapestry of love and emotional depth. Each thread of vulnerability we weave into our relationships strengthens the fabric of connection, allowing us to experience the beauty of intimacy. If you find yourself inspired to explore this journey of vulnerability further, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. Together, let's navigate the waters of emotional availability and learn to embrace our authentic selves. Through this exploration, we can foster the connections we long for and deserve. So, what will you share today, and how might that change the dynamic of your relationships? Join me as we continue to uncover the transformative power of vulnerability, inviting authentic connection into our lives. As we continue our exploration of emotional availability, let's turn our attention to the power of effective communication. Communication is more than just exchanging information. It's the lifeblood of any relationship, carrying the nuances of our thoughts, feelings, and intentions. The way we communicate can either foster closeness or create barriers to emotional connection. Imagine communication as a beautifully woven tapestry. Each thread represents words, tone, body language, and even silence. When these threads intertwine harmoniously, they create a strong bond. When neglected, loose threads can lead to fraying connections. Just as a tapestry can reveal intricate patterns when observed closely, effective communication can unveil the depth of our emotions and desires, making our relationships richer. Have you ever found yourself misinterpreting a text or an offhand comment made by a loved one? These moments often stem from a lack of clarity in communication. When we don't express our feelings fully or choose our words carefully, misunderstandings can breed resentment or hurt. To gain more clarity in your communication, ask yourself, how often do I take the time to articulate not only what I want to say, but how I want to say it? One of the most powerful tools in effective communication is active listening. This goes beyond simply hearing what the other person says. It involves fully engaging in their message. Picture a serene lake reflecting the trees around it, a space free of disturbances where thoughts can flow freely. When you listen actively, you create that calm, inviting atmosphere for your partner. This means making eye contact, nodding in understanding, and summarizing what the other person has shared to ensure clarity. How often do you genuinely allow space for someone to share their thoughts without interrupting or planning your response while they speak? When both partners practice active listening, it invites deeper engagement and fosters an understanding that nurtures emotional closeness. This is especially important when discussing sensitive topics or feelings of vulnerability. Remember, communication is a dance. It thrives on the rhythm of give and take. If you take a moment to be present and tuned into your partner's words, you pave the way for them to reciprocate in kind. Additionally, recognizing the importance of tone and body language can transform your communication dynamics. Sometimes we might say the right words but convey the wrong message through our tone or posture. Picture an open palm gesture. It invites closeness and trust, while crossed arms might signal defensiveness or disinterest. Reflect on how your body language and tone align with your spoken message. Are they harmonious, or do they create confusion? Let's also take a moment to talk about honesty in communication. Watts spoke of the significance of being true to oneself and allowed the truth to flow freely. Honesty is essential for building trust. It lays the foundation for a relationship that can withstand challenges. Sharing your thoughts and feelings openly, even when they might be uncomfortable, is an act of profound courage. Instead of glossing over your truth to spare feelings, consider what would happen if you embraced authenticity. In particular, consider the privilege of expressing your needs and desires. Just as a gardener knows which plants need sunlight or shade, understanding your emotional needs and communicating them clearly allows you to nurture the relationships in your life. Are there feelings you've been hesitant to disclose? Are there needs you've neglected to voice, whether out of fear or uncertainty? As you reflect on these aspects of communication, ask yourself, how can I create an environment conducive to honest dialogues? What steps can I take to ensure my emotions and intentions are clearly understood? When we commit to fostering effective communication, we create a space where both partners feel empowered, valued, and respected. If you're feeling inspired to deepen your communication skills, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. Together, we can embark on this journey to enhance our dialogue with those we cherish, unveiling the layers of connection waiting to emerge. As we continue to strengthen our communication, how might that shift the dynamics of our relationships? Let's explore this together and engage in conversations that lead to authentic connections filled with emotional availability. What are you waiting to express today? Join me as we nurture the art of conversation and watch our emotional landscapes bloom. As we reach the final chapter of our exploration into emotional availability, let's reflect on the importance of nurturing and sustaining emotional connections in our relationships. Maintaining these connections is akin to tending a delicate garden. It requires time, care, and an understanding of our unique emotional landscapes. Just as flowers need the right soil, sunlight, and water to thrive, our emotional bonds require consistent nourishment to flourish. Picture a vibrant garden, alive with colors and fragrances. Each flower represents a relationship in your life. To ensure that these relationships grow and bloom, they require attention. What does it mean to nurture an emotional connection? It means actively engaging with your partner's feelings and needs, just as you would pull weeds or add compost to the soil to promote healthy growth. Are you taking the time to check in with your loved ones? Do you remind them that they are valued and heard, or do you allow the busyness of life to overshadow these essential expressions? One of the most effective ways to nurture emotional connections is through quality time. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to let distractions pull our focus from the people who matter most to us. However, dedicating time to your relationships signals to those involved that they are a priority. Think of it as watering your garden. How can you create meaningful moments together, perhaps through a weekly date night, collaborative hobbies, or even quiet moments spent in conversation, sharing your thoughts openly? Another vital aspect of sustaining emotional connections is gratitude. Expressing appreciation for your partner and recognizing the small, everyday gestures can significantly enhance your emotional bond. Just as nature thrives on the delicate interplay of various components that nurture growth, acknowledging the efforts of those we love reinforces their sense of value. Have you taken the time to express gratitude for your partner's support, care, or even their quirks that make you smile? This practice fosters an environment where love is not only received, but actively cultivated. Communication, as we discussed earlier, plays a crucial role in nurturing relationships. It's essential to keep dialogues open and honest to maintain a solid emotional foundation. When conflicts arise, which they inevitably will, how you resolve those disagreements can either strengthen the bond or lead to further distance. Conflict resolution involves more than just addressing the issue. It requires navigating emotions with compassion and understanding. Reflecting on how you approach conflicts can reveal how deeply rooted your emotional connections are. Are you quick to assign blame, or do you seek to understand the other person's perspective? Moreover, flexibility is key. Just as a gardener adapts to the changing seasons, be open to the natural ebb and flow of your relationships. Everyone changes over time. Your needs may adapt, and the way you connect may evolve. Allowing space for this growth means welcoming dialogue about changes in emotional needs or boundaries, ensuring everyone feels supported in their journey. It's equally important to create rituals that celebrate your connection. Special traditions or simple practices like sharing what you are grateful for at the end of the day or creating a love jar filled with notes of appreciation can serve as a reminder of your commitment to nurturing the emotional bond. These rituals act as anchors in the seas of daily life chaos, allowing you both to return to each other in moments of meandering. As we conclude our exploration, take a moment to reflect on your emotional garden. What flowers are flourishing and which ones require nourishment? Are there relationships that could benefit from more acknowledgement or time investment? Are you willing to embrace the ongoing process of nurturing and sustaining these connections? Emotional availability is not a destination. It's a lifelong journey of growth, self-discovery, and connection. If you feel inspired to continue this evolving journey, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. Together, let's cultivate our emotional gardens and ensure that they thrive. As we embrace vulnerability, practice compassionate communication, and nurture our relationships, we welcome the love and connections we truly deserve. So, what actions will you take today to tend to your emotional garden? Join me in continuing this exploration, fostering authentic connections, and creating a sanctuary of love in your life. Your journey to emotional availability is just beginning, and I can't wait to see how your garden will bloom.